Hello, this is Krystal, and thank you for joining me for this week's First Chapter Friday. Today I will be reading from Robin Brande's Doggirl. Hope you enjoy. Chapter 1. I believe in science. And this one said, dog trainer needed immediately. Must provide own dog. I snatched the paper off the announcement board before anyone else could see it, because it's about time. The note at the bottom said to talk to Danny Greco. I sort of knew who he was, but he didn't know me, of course. He's a senior. I'm a freshman. And besides, there's no reason he would have noticed me anyway. I pretty much keep a low profile. Hey, aren't you that bird girl? He asked. Well, except maybe for that. It was the first day of school last semester, my first day at any school in this town, and I was sitting outside at one of the tables for lunch. Maybe I should back up. It's always been this way. My parents say it was from when I was still a little baby. One day, they had me out on the lawn on top of a blanket to take my picture. Goo goo gaga. I'm just lying there on my stomach trying to work on my head control. And the neighbor's giant part Mastiff, part Rottweiler trots over. Never been in our yard before, but there he is suddenly. And my parents are freaking out. And I'm all smiles and gurgles and cooing. My dad missed the first shot because he was still too much in shock. But he started clicking pictures as soon as he could. The dog, his name was Ralph, plopped down behind me on the blanket, slid his giant paws on either side of my body like he was propping me up, and then he leaned his cheek against mine, and I leaned into him, and we both smiled for the camera. I mean, I looked ecstatic. We have the pictures to prove it. My dad says I'm like Snow White, with all the birds and squirrels and deer coming out to meet me while I walk through the forest. I wouldn't go that far, but it can get kind of weird. So I was just sitting there on the first day of school, eating my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, trying not to openly stare at any of the kids around me, even though I was pretty curious what their stories were, when suddenly I noticed a small gathering. Not really something to get alarmed about, just a few pigeons here and there, and then a few sparrows, and maybe 2 or 3 pairs of doves. And now people were noticing. I could hear them laughing or gasping or just chattering to each other. I didn't look up because there was nothing I could do about it anyway. They liked to be around me. Not all the time, but every now and then I'll just attract this little entourage of whatever birds are in the area. It's no big deal. They eventually get bored and move on. But having that happen in front of everybody did sort of give me a reputation for a while. I was bored girl for the first month or so, until everybody got distracted by the next shiny thing and lost track of me, which is exactly what I'd hoped. I handed Danny Greco his sign. I can do this if you want. You can? He said. Great. What kind of dog do you have? Never mind, doesn't matter. Can you bring it to the theater after school today? Sure. Great. See you then. He went back to scribbling in his notebook. Can I, ask you what this is for? A play, he said, not looking up. My heart beat a little faster. Which one? There aren't a lot of plays that use dogs, other than a few musicals like Annie. Theater producers think animals are too unpredictable. All they need to do is hire the right trainers. I'm writing it right now, Danny answered. Pardon? He set down his pen and gave me his full attention. Look, I have about 4 seconds for this, so listen fast. It's for the TDTT, he said. 13-day theater thrash. High schools all around the country compete. Prizes for best play, best director, best cast, best costumes, blah blah. This morning, all the teams were assigned our required elements. Genre, time period, prop we have to use. We're stuck with mystery. World War I, a pot roast. Couldn't suck more. So now I have to figure out how the bleep I'm going to write a 2-act, 60-minute play using all of those, while also giving decent parts to the first seniors in the cast, because otherwise they're going to kill me. And that's just the easy part, he continued. Next, the actors have to memorize all their lines. We have to figure out how to stage it, what sets to build, what costumes to make, how to cook a pot roast, apparently. Then we have to perform it live in front of an audience a week from Saturday and film it with no cuts or edits, then turn in the film by 9 o'clock the next morning. So you can see I won't really be taking my time in the bathroom for the next 13 days. No, I agreed. So, if you don't mind. Sure, but can you just tell me what you want the dog to do? And if you would like to know what happens next with Doggirl by Robin Brande, you can check this out on the Hoopla app. Please join me here next week as I read from the first chapter of The Girl and the Clockwork Cat. Thank you and have a great weekend.